Hello and welcome to yet another interesting edition of Tokyo in 120 minutes here in the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayene and have two great sports analysts in the house. Alpha, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, Wally. Since we are still in the process of introduction, maybe when we get into the show proper, we'll talk about what we want to say. But once again, nice to be here.
Of course, Chibuzo, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, Wale join us all the way from London, UK. Wale, how are you doing? I can barely hear you, Wale.
Apologies for that. I am very good, thank you. Just like Alpha said, in the course of the program, I think there are some exciting things to talk about today. Some very sad things, but yeah, it's good to be here with you once again.
Vivian also join us all the way from Sheffield. How are you doing today, Vivian?
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, Dakwa also join us all the way from Lagos. Dakwa, how is Lagos today?
Lagos is fine. Lagos is fine. Thank you.
Of course, on the course of the show, also we'll be having a coach and a statistician from the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. He'll be joining us on the course of the show. Today we are going to be starting the show on a very, very sad note. This is not actually, befitting, also encouraging for Team Nigeria participation at the ongoing 2020 Olympic Games. At this point in time, 10 Nigerian athlete has been disqualified from the ongoing 2020 Olympic Games. Wow, this is just so sad. At this point in time, Alpha, what is on take on these 10 Nigerian athletes out of 23-man contingent that's supposed to represent Nigeria in the track and field event? Just so sad that 10 athletes has been disqualified.
I mean, very sad. Just like you said in your opening remarks. I mean, we have 23 athletes in the track and field. And this news just came not too long ago. Sad news to hear that 10 of our athletes have been disqualified. So we were hoping that, or rather, we're looking forward to the track and field event. And now we are now short by 10 men. This is sad. I really don't know where we got it wrong. I'm sure to today's edition, me and Dakwa will do a lot of going back and forth. Because right from when we started the show, I noticed we were not in the best of form, and this coming out from the camp of Team Nigeria in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics is very sad to note. I wouldn't want to make conclusions yet, but I hope this won't be one of the worst Olympic games that we are participating in, but very, very sad.
Of course, Shibus, at this point in time, let's get your opening statement on this.
Well, just when you can't imagine what else could go bad, and you have this hit you in the face. You don't know whether to be embarrassed or to be. It's just demoralizing, actually. We've had very poor runs so far, and then you have this kind of very embarrassing situation play out. But like I first said, we don't have all of the information yet, so let's see how it goes. But on the face of it, it's most embarrassing.
Of course, Vivian, is it embarrassing to you?
Yes, it's very embarrassing. We went from winning gold in Sydney in the relays to not even having enough players to compete. So it's a very, very sad day. We should be improving from the past performances that we did, but that's not happening. And it's not like one player or two players, it's over 10 players disqualified. So it's very, very sad.
Wale?
Well, I think we've all said what we need to say.
Hello, Wally. If you can hear me, let's get your reaction on that.
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me from there? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, everyone. I think we've all said what we wanted to say. What we just need to uh, obviously conclude on is to where to lay the blames. This is it looks like we've broken, according to the press release, Rule 15 of category Federation A. So meaning we've not been testing our athletes. So what I deduct from this is, and I stand to be corrected, I don't know, we haven't got further details. Maybe when Mr. Shoeton comes in today and talks to us, because he will be representing the Athletics Federation, maybe able to shed more light on it. What I deduce from this is probably our own base athletes have not been regularly tested, because if you look at the foreign based one, the ones in America and whatever, wherever they are, before they go for any competition, they do get regularly tested, because that's why I am, for a part of me is like very sad, but the other part is a bit cautious, because it might not affect our elite athletes. So, but we all know where the blame lies. We need to ask the questions. Why do AFN not realize there's a rule 15 within the constitution of the Athletics Integrity Unit that they needed to follow? So that's the question we need to pose to AFN, and hopefully someone somewhere will be able to tell us.
Hmm. Dapo, let's get your thoughts on these. I know you are very no conversant with the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. Hello, Dapo, can you hear me? Hello, Dapo, can you hear me? Okay, Lakon join us. Lakon, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, what actually went wrong for we having to see 10 good Nigerian athletes, getting to be disqualified from the Olympic Games?
Since 8 months ago, the Athletics Integrity Unit actually notified Nigeria and the rest of the world that Nigeria now moved from, we were downgraded from B to A category doping risk nation, meaning nations that are not getting their athletes tested locally enough. So the Athletics Federation of Nigeria was aware. Then the NADC, the body in charge of doping in Nigeria, they were aware. And the factions, definitely from BYOK Secretariat, they submit lists of athletes to NADC, and NADC actually accepted their list, disregarding whatever the Guzo faction sent to them. So the Athletics Federation of Nigeria was aware, and the technical director, Sunday Adeleye, actually came on here and informed the whole of the country that we're at risk. Some of our athletes might not be able to compete in Tokyo. So since then, they have done nothing about it. The then acting president actually said he was looking for attention. So if the saying that only local-based athletes will be affected, no. NCAA, collegiate athletes in US, they are affected too, because they don't normally do tests. That's why that competition is F category. So it cuts across when we are competing and our athletes are not getting tested, the reason why we are in that category in the first place. So the Ministry of Youth and Sport, who is responsible to sponsor doping, the NADC is being sponsored by Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport. Are they sponsoring enough? Our athletes getting tested enough? So they should know, not the problem of my faction of Athletics Federation of Nigeria. We are aware and we have informed them that NADC refused to accept the list we submitted, athletes that must be tested regularly. 3 tests, no notice, out of competition, and they must not be 3 weeks. They must be 3 weeks apart minimum. So they were preparing for Olympics. That's the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport with NOC. NOC is not really functioning. So Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport is handling everything on their own. And the BST, their staff they are using as the Secretary General of their own federation, knows nothing about these rules. So to me, we got into this mess from 8 months ago. Nothing has been done. So that's just the situation we have right now. It's so sad.
Lekon, do we know the names of those athletes at this point in time?
Well, until we see the press release from NOC, but I can assure you, 5 athletes are not going to be affected. They are on Adams. They are elite athletes. Blessing Okagbare, Tobi Amuson, Brume, Chukwuebuka, and Oduduru will not be affected because they are getting tested regularly. If they have problem, they will go on ban. So those 5 athletes out of the 22 athletes in Tokyo right now, those 5 will not be affected. But home or abroad, anybody could be on that list. But since we've seen day one entries for triple jump, I believe Rutuzoro is affected because her name is not on the start list for triple jump women. And I believe if Rutuzoro is affected, he's based in US. They don't get tested while on NCAA championship. So to me, anybody could be affected, but I can guarantee you I've checked the list now for the day one result entries. Rutuzoro is affected and 9 others are affected.
Can I just quickly ask a question, Lekon? I'm sorry, boys. Can I ask this question? Who could you clarify, Lekon, who actually submitted the names of all the athletes going to these Olympics? Is it the sports ministry, like you said, or is it the NOC, or the different factions of the AFN?
Okay, the process is like this. A national governing body, athletics, should submit a list to Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport who are really responsible for Nigerian athletes. They will submit the list to NOC, then NOC will send it to Olympics. So that's the process. But since we have 2 factions and the minister is relating with one faction under his own staff, the Secretary General of their own faction is responsible to submit the list. And it should be the one to really know when the list were submitted by the AFN. But the AFN that submitted this list specifically is the Okowa faction. Yeah.
Wow.
Just following up with what Wale asked, are we not to say that the crisis in the AFN has contributed? I think clearly from what he has said, clearly it has. Because if there was just, a single house, we have one house in the AFN, I don't think, but in a situation where you have 2 factions, one faction has the backing of the minister, then the other faction are left in the cold. Who is responsible to do this testing? And like he said initially, the NOC are almost redundant. So, but this is really a sad situation. And how come local artists, when we know the requirements for you to participate in these games, and you don't even test your athletes? And we say the foreign athletes are being tested, but the local athletes are not being tested. But you know that all these people are Olympians, are going to the Olympics to represent Team Nigeria. So why are we having this kind of issues? It's really sad.
Too bad. Lekon, on the part of the athletes, what will be running through those athletes at this point in time, and will this not bring down the morale of the rest of the athletes in Tokyo?
Definitely, it will have a ripple effect on them. I can't imagine my personal athletes getting to Olympic ground and won't be able to compete. It's a sad one. Even the relays will be affected when you remove 10 from a list of 22.
Exactly.
What do you have left? So they don't have reserve for the relay if the relays are going to compete at all. The 4x1 women, I'm sure, will be affected. So to me, the whole thing, you don't even have backup. When you are running, you don't even have a reserve. So everybody will be sad. How do you call yourself an Olympian when you cannot compete? So it's a sad one for the whole team.
Of course, it's very, very sad. Dapo, if you can hear me, let's get your reaction on this.
Well, it's a very sad situation, and I want to blame the sport minister for this. He knew there was going to be crisis. He knew Nigerian athletes, were going to be disqualified. He knew, definitely he does. He knew this, and he kept doing what he was doing, taking side with one side with the faction of the Athletics Association of Nigeria. He inherited this issue from this scandal from Solomon Dalong, and he decided to continue on the wrong path. On the wrong path. After after Nigeria has been told the truth about the matter, the authentic Athletics Federation of Nigeria, the minister, decided not to listen. And look at the embarrassment for Nigeria. And if we're true, government in this country, the minister, this should be the end of the minister's reign as a sport minister in Nigeria. But this is a huge embarrassment to Nigerian sport. He took side with one faction, and even the International Federation were telling him fervently, this is wrong. This side you are taking is wrong. But he insisted. He insisted. He had thrown his own president, disregarded the rulings from the International Athletics Federation. And this is what we are facing now. It's a very difficult one. These athletes, there's nothing anybody can do at this point in time. Competition is just a few days away. And by now, if the confirmation about your doping status is not known today on a Wednesday, what do you want to do? You are competing nowhere. So they can only compete in the athletes. They cannot even get into the athletes village. It's very sad. This thing was actually brewing. It has been on for the last 3 years, and this man refused to hearken to the voice of reason. It's very sad. Even our own issue also, definitely. I'm also faulting the other side. We have the Torobok Okowa faction and also the Guso faction. The two sides, they refuse to meet at the central point. And now Nigeria has been embarrassed. We are not going to blame just one faction. We are blaming the two, because the two have been very, very troublesome. They've been very, very troublesome, and that is not good for Nigeria. You can imagine what we have actually gotten from these athletes. Now, even the 4x1 that we have been talking about is not going to be possible, because athletes cleared, with Amushon, Blessing Okagbari, then Ese Bruman. Though Ese Bruman runs, there is also a specialist in 21st leg who is going to take it. There are 3 cleared in the female. 3 does not run. They cannot run in the relays. So what we just have to bank on now, because there's no remedy. There's no remedy. As it is, there is no remedy. As it is now, we just have to bank on Okagbari running 100 and 200, Amushan running in Odus. Then Ese Bruman just concentrating mostly on long jump. 5 out of 22. It is 5 out of 22 is a poor result. It's a poor out of competition testing is compulsory. They will not notify you. It can be anywhere in the world, be in Australia, be in Canada, anywhere in the world. As long as you have qualified, they will test you. They will come. But a lot of athletes, even in the past, they run away when they see, once they are told that this doping master coming there in the front house, they take the back to run away. They've been doing it. I've experienced it many times, even during competition. If they say, okay, even after out of competition doping, they do it. Even in competition also, some have actually changed into the attire of judokas just to avoid being tested. So a lot of them are not clear. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just a fact. The crisis in the Athletics Federation has actually ruined serious, chances of winning any medal in Tokyo. Now the 5 remaining athletes, they will not have a settled mind. Their psychology is already affected. Their psyche is already affected. Their concentration is already affected. So how do you want to perform? If all these are not in place, there's no calmness, there's no confidence, there's fear even in the air. That even the ones that go normally on the likes of Okagba, they will actually develop some anxiety. And this is not good for Nigeria. So I'm calling on the federal government of Nigeria, if they are listening, everywhere. This our broadcast is going everywhere in the world, as long as it is on internet, it's everywhere in the world. Please, this should end. The crisis in the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has lingered for too long. The same thing for the one in basketball. Since 2017 up till now, the crisis is still on in athletics, in basketball. You know, it's very sad. I don't know. It's a very, actually, you started on a very bright note saying it's a very sad day for Nigerian sport. It is actually a very sad day for Nigerian sport.
Of course, it is a very sad day for Nigerian sport. But for now, we'll go for a short commercial break. And when we return, we are still talking about the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Of course, Lekon will still be around to tell us if there's still any chance of we getting medals in the athletic event. Don't go nowhere. Thank you for staying with us. It's still Tokyo in 120 minutes on the Leadership Podcast Studio. We are actually talking about Team Nigeria, talking about 10 athletes has been disqualified from the Tokyo Olympic Games. But Lekon, Nigerians really want to know the genesis of the crisis in the AFN, and as you tell us that also, you can actually get to tell us if we still stand a chance to win medals at the Olympic Games.
Well, let me skip the crisis in AFN because it's a long story. So everything on what the government is doing, the interference by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport. Let's prospect. Realistically, if 5 of those athletes are intact, who is the leader in long jump, she just broke African record. That's a good prospect. We have Tobi Amusa. She's ranked number 4, and she was 4th in Doha. To tell you that she just missed a medal then. Now, and she has returned exactly what she did in Doha. So she's a good prospect too. So we have 2 good prospects already. Ari, who can deliver anything in the final. Once she can get herself into the final, then you could expect it wasn't a fluke. And a 10.89 for a 10.79 PB lady. Go, she's in contention too. Then we have Oduduru. Divine Oduduru did a 1988 this season, 22 consistently. So I bank on him in 200 to be able to get into the final. And in the final, anything can happen. We still have our 5 athletes intact. We have Ese Brume, Toby Amuson, Blessing Oka, Grezunwo Kocha, the National Sport Festival champion in 100 meters. We'll be clear because she's been tested that fast. She has been tested at the National Sport Festival, and hopefully she has been tested once she reported to camp for the Olympics. So I believe she will still be part of it. So we have a 4x1 women intact. Then hopefully we have 4 of them, and they are good to go to get to the final. So to me, we still have hope of having 2 gold medals, even as far now. So we have huge prospects. So I won't be able to stay long on this program. I have other shows to attend. So no problem. We have our athletes in house. But to me, the kit they are going to put on is also a problem. Who is causing that problem now? So that's another issue entirely. So until I and look good like the rest of the world, the minister should do the needful in morale more by not allowing sponsored kids. So let's leave this issue. We are in it, and we need to find solutions. So to me, we still have our prospects intact, and very optimistic. Nigeria is going to do well in our.
Thank you, Lekon, for joining us on today's show. Of course, Alpha Chibuzo, looking at what Lekon has just said, what would be your reaction on those before we move on?
I like the fact that we can continue to be optimistic. There's some glimmer of hope somewhere in there that we could still get something as projected by Lekon. But it's just so depressing that having gone through what we have because of the week, we get to hear this kind of athletics is one of those events that a lot of us had put a good measure of hope that one way or the other we could scratch something out, but with this kind of information, it's just embarrassing, honestly.
Of course, Wale, in 2019, during the World Championship in Doha, we know that there are some cases, it's like something really happened, and the present minister talking about Sunday Dare had to recall the AFN technical director, then that is talking about Sunday Adelea, and he actually came back, and at the end of the day, minister moved that he should be sacked due to some level of negligence on his part. But at this point in time, that this has actually hit Team Nigeria. Who should be blamed at this point in time? Nigerians need heads to actually rule for this.
I'll be very surprised if at the end of the day, at the head of the sports minister is chopped off. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he would readily accept the blame for what has happened. He's a politician. I'm sure that will go on the desk of someone. Who that someone is, I do not know. Lekon has come out to say, listen, this problem has to do with the sports ministry. Dapo confirmed that. We all know that at the end of the day, this is sports ministry and a non-functional NOC that the buck stops on the table. But come on, politicians are politicians, so they know what to do to deflect this issue. But I don't know if Lekon is still here, but Lekon mentioned the fact that the Nigerian National Sports Festival girl should be okay. I don't know if he's still here, but my question will be, because I was looking at the press release, and he did say that an athlete must have undergone at least 3 no notice out of competition tests. That's including urine and blood, conducted no less than 3 weeks apart in the 10 months leading to a major event. So I'm not sure if this girl, this lady, this athlete, have been tested for, going by that rule. if that lady is just being tested prior to the National Sports Festival, she might not be. She might be affected. She might be on the list of those affected. But the issue is, we've always said this since the start of this program, of this Tokyo 2020 in 120. We've always said that, we understand what the problems of Nigeria sports is. And except we go back to the basics, except we go back to playing sports the way we should be playing sports, we'll keep on having these problems. It's so embarrassing, honestly. And the press release actually stated very clearly, mentioning Nigeria as the most affected. Other countries had 1, 4, 3. We had 10 out of 23. That is really bad for Nigeria's image, and I think we need to continuously bang on this. I know it's not all about winning the medal, it's all about participating. What happens, just like we have all mentioned, what happens to these girls and boys, who've boarded the planes, who've been, money's been spent on them to take them to Tokyo, and all they will do now is just sit back somewhere, not being able to participate in an Olympics that they probably are prepared for, due to no fault of theirs. It's kind of very embarrassing and very distressing and very disappointing. And I think something needs to be done. What that something is, that's the problem. We don't know. In other climes, in other countries, a sports minister today will have resigned, because of the shame that person has brought to that country. But we all know where we are from. We all know the way it goes. We'll just sit down, just like somebody used to say, Uncle Bola Ige used to say, we just sit down and look, and watch and see what comes out of this.
Of course, sir. Alpha, should we sit down and look and watch how things unfold?
Well, I mean, the way it is, like Wally rightly said, because what do we do? Because we can sit here and talk all day, like you said. I mean, in other countries, I mean, the minister right there in Tokyo, by now, after we heard this news, the next announcement without hearing was that the minister has handed in his resignation. But I mean, this is a different climb where people don't resign, people don't take blames for even mistakes they do. But from what everybody has said, this whole problem, the root of this problem still goes back to the Ministry of Sports. So where do we go from here? Like you said initially, this will demoralize athletes. I mean, having 10 of your athletes, completely disqualified from, I mean, just 2 days for the start of, a crucial event, the track and field. I mean, like a lot of people will say that the Olympic never truly begins until when the track and field events begin. So, but having 10 of your athletes, like even Lekon said, out of these 10 athletes, you don't even know if there's a medal in 1 or 2 of them. But now we have 10 athletes out of this just because of, some issues or negligence on the part of our Ministry of Sports. So the blame wouldn't really go to the NOC because as long as we're concerned, the Ministry of Sports has been running the show for as long as we can remember. And when you have people running the show who feel that, they are the all in all, these kind of things, I mean, the minister should come up and give us a proper explanation of why these, athletes were not even tested in the first place over 10 months. Because it's not like you start doing this out of testing 3 weeks to the Olympics. They said at least 10 months to the Olympics, 3 weeks interval. Yes. So what were they doing all along? So I mean, these athletes were just participating, going for trials and all that without testing, only for us to arrive at this situation. It's really a sad one.
Vivian, where should we go from here?
It's good to be optimistic about the athletes that are still remaining. However, it is just sad that we are separating between foreign athletes and local athletes. Just shows how our local sport is not taken very seriously. It's really, really embarrassing and sad. It's just optimistic, but again, less conflict means less chances of winning. We'll just see what's going to happen.
Of course. Let's just see what is going to happen. Dapo, your final thought on this before we move ahead to the next topic.
Say the AFN faction. Maybe it's the secretary that just spoke. He's just trying to massage the egos of no hope anywhere. No hope anywhere. Blessing Okagbere for the 4x1 that he said there's no hope anywhere. Okagbere will concentrate on 100 and 200 meters.
Absolutely.
Then she will be the only athlete that will be very ready to compete. Amushan, our specialty is in hurdles. And in this, you have to, even in the must participate in the heats. The heat, you go to the quarter, you go to the semifinals before getting to the finals to run for medals. The same thing for Amushan. She will compete in heats in her own main event. She will either qualify for quarters, semifinals, and finals before running for medals. For S.A. Bruman, she's also a sprinter, aside from being a long jumper. She qualified only for long jump. And she want to concentrate winning medals. Yes, for long jump. But we want to concentrate in an event, and it takes a lot to get to the finals when you can compete for the medal. So what is he talking about? He's trying to massage our egos. We know, even some of us are more experienced than he does. He does not even know what he's talking about. If you don't come and massage our egos, we have lost it. We have lost it. The dirty politics coming from the sport ministry, being transcended to the AFL, has affected everything, and it has Nigeria's hope of winning any medal at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. It's very sad. Even if other sports are not faltering and all that, athletics should be able to do something for us, and we have the athletes prepared over 8 years. Oduduwa has been there for about 8 years. Okagbare has been there for about 8 years. They've not gotten any Olympic medal. This is the time for them to pick something. Now they are demoralized. Their psyche is low. Their encouragement is not there. It is crisis reading. So what are we talking about? If you don't come here to massage our ego, we have lost it. The two sides are to blame. The king of the chief culprit, the sport ministry, the sport minister per se, because he has contributed to ruining Nigeria's chances of winning any medal. We are talking about the entire country now. It is not about any faction. You are there to pretend over the administration of Nigerian sports. The man is there. Why do you have to take side? Why do you have to take side now? The whole thing, I don't know. It's just very, very sad. And I'm not happy about that.
Of course, Belarus also out of 35 athletes, about 3 will not be allowed to compete in the Olympic Games. Berhan, out of 13 athletes, they were actually not cleared to compete. Ethiopia, out of 44 athletes, 1 athlete will not be competing at the Olympic Games. Kenya, out of 40 athletes, 2 athletes will not be competing. Also, Morocco with 16 athletes, 1 will not be competing. While Nigeria, which we have been talking about, with 23 athletes, 10 will not be competing. While Ukraine with 51 athletes in the athletics event, about 3 will not be competing, making it a total of 20 athletes will not be competing when the track and field event kicks off on Friday. Generally, looking at those 20 athletes, they're expected to become Olympians, but now they are not their dreams.
Hopes have been dashed for no fault of theirs. So it's really sad. It would have been that they competed and didn't even make it. But for you, after training, practicing, preparing yourself for almost 4 years, just to get into the Olympics, to make history, make a name for yourself, for your family, for your country, and just because of a couple of a few administrative glitches, then you can't even participate. It's really sad. If it was me, I'll be sad. I mean, the athletes were all ready to go out there and do their thing, but now for no fault of theirs, they won't even be in the conversation. So it's not really a good one. Of course, Chibuzo,
Oh, well, it will be interesting to see what other countries do about this.
Mm.
Of course, we have the highest number,
Mm.
but it will be interesting to see the action, these other countries on this lineup have to take. But it will be very interesting, really interesting, if no clear, strong action is taken about this act of indiscretion.
Of course, our viewers, you can actually send in your comments about 10 Nigerians athletes disqualified from the Olympics, and we will get to read your comment as you keep them coming. But for now, we'll go for another short commercial break, and when we come back, the Tigers are in the news today, and also our own streamer talking about Abiola. She did break the Nigerian record, but she has actually crashed out from the Olympic Games. This and many more will come after this short break. Don't go nowhere. The leadership podcast studio. We have been talking about the athletics team. About 10 athletes has been disqualified from the Tokyo Olympic Games. We want you to actually send in your comment via our Facebook and our YouTube our pages, and we will get to read them as you keep them coming. Also, it's another disappointing defeat. Talking about the Tigers, they were actually defeated by the German counterpart. That particular match ended 97-2 and 92 in favor of the Germans. It means at this point in time, technically, the Tigers has been eliminated from the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games, despite they will be having a game in hand against the Italians. But as it stands now, to be difficult for them to progress to the next stage of the Olympic Games. Alpha, your thoughts on the Tigers? Yesterday, you were hopeful and you said you were going to pray and fast for them to win the Germans, but I don't know if you didn't actually pray or you forgot to pray anyway.
I did. I actually prayed, but it's a pity that I won't want to say the prayers were not answered. I'm sure it was answered.
Of course, just to cut you short, someone has actually said if prayers were to win medals at the Olympics, the Israeli and the Saudi Arabians will be the ones to win all the good medals.
Absolutely. For the case of the Tigers, in the run up to before the Olympics started proper, during the trials. So now it's looking like it was a case of flattering to deceive. They showed off some, very, very brilliant, situations they were in during the trials. A lot of people felt and thought that after, beating the United States, beating the Argentines, yes, the first game, the trial game against the Australians, we lost, but it was like, okay, maybe that's a fluke. Maybe when the game start proper, we'll get our acts together. And we lost again to the Australians again. Coming into this game, we had high hopes. We felt, okay, the Australians were much, pretty better than, our team. So we felt, okay, maybe they could match up with the Germans. But they've been defeated once again by the Germans. So they just have one more game to go. So the way it's looking right now, technically, the Tigers are out. And for me, I really felt, they were one of really medal hopefuls. I felt maybe they could at least come up with at least a bronze medal, but falling by the wayside to the Germans, really, I don't really know what to make of the final game. I don't even want to start making any predictions. I mean, and going back to how we started discussing in the first place, this Olympics has been, very, very disappointing. Because every day we come here hopeful, we preview a game and before, we flatter. And at the end of the day, we fall. So I don't really know where we need to take it from here. We really need to do some soul searching at the end of these Olympic Games. Some things really have to be put in place. I don't know if it's structures. I don't know if it's better financing, but some things really have to change if we are to. I mean, France 2024 is just in another 3 years, and this is the right time to start planning for 2024. Because if we don't, we'll keep going through, this circle all over again, and in 2024 again, we'll still come back here, and it will still be the same story. So, but I must say, I'm really disappointed. Even though the minister tried to downplay to say yes, they put up a good performance, fine, but I mean, you could say it was an impressive display, but if you put up an impressive display, you should have been winning. So, but when you lose, I think it's just a face-saving statement. Yes, the Tigers were, they were in fine form, but we lost.
Of course, we did.
So I'm disappointed, I must say.
Chubuz, are you disappointed looking at the first quarter? The first quarter ended 21-24 in favor of the Germans, and Nigeria took the second quarter 29-26. We drew the third quarter 24-24, and the fourth quarter we lost 18-25. But what really went on in the first quarter and the remaining last two quarters are for Team Nigeria?
It's what we kept saying here yesterday. I kept making that point. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. You have to finish strong. You just have to finish strong. It's about the mentality. You have to, ride out the game. Because it's personally, I felt okay with the first game that we lost. Coming into second game, would have learned a thing or two.
Exactly.
Consolidated on their weaknesses and built on our strengths. But it's just I don't know. It's baffling. That this the task of finishing strong just didn't get to them. Of course, they had the first quarter. We gave a strong push in the second quarter. There was a time in the third quarter, and then at the very tail end of it, where we ought to have rode through, we just seem to drop the ball. So it's a tough one to really reconcile. But as it is, we're just out of it. Just out of it.
Vivian, let's get a reaction on the matchup between the Tigers and the Germans.
So how many losses are we going to take? Before we started the game, the Germans were not as strong or even better than our team, but we still managed to lose. And so we just have to look forward to Saturday against Italy. But again, Italy, they're not as strong. So we should be doing better than what we are currently doing right now. But this leaves us at a very bad position to qualify.
Of course, Wole, another medal hopeful event has been dashed.
Yeah, I must say I was really disappointed. Coach Brown did say, that's the coach of the male basketball team, said when we lost to the Australians that when we defeated the USA and Argentina, everyone thought, yeah, we're going to stroll in and win the gold medal. But Nigeria was still on the road. We weren't there yet. Don't forget, we still have a very young team. I think they will definitely develop. But having said that, it's been disappointing. It's been disappointing. I think it's a general trend with regards to every of our teams participating at the Olympics this season. We've got the Italians to play. I saw the Italians play today against Australia. And I tell you, it will be a tough game. I mean, if we beat the Italians, it would be. It's going to be tough because those Italians are actually very, very good. I think they look at the world rankings, and I think the Italians are probably number 7 in the world at the moment. As at the last ranking, this was done in March 2021. It's been disappointing to say the least. It's we had high hopes for our basketball team, especially the fact that what they were doing, they were really like revolutionizing what our sports should be. We were getting players in, they were doing well, they were in our faces. Everywhere you turn in social media, you always see the basketball team there. Everyone forgot about that we were going to the Olympics for every other game. But other sports were going there. Athletes were going there. We were going to be competing in rowing, in swimming, in taekwondo, wrestling, tennis. People forgot about that. People were just thinking basketball, because of the way they were like in our faces. But it's rather sad. And one thing I actually picked up was towards the end, just like Chibuzo said, we were like always tiring up towards the end in the fourth quarter and what have you. I don't know, maybe it has to do with the physicality of the game, the kind of people we're playing against. And I think the Italians will have looked at that. Having watched the game against the Germans, and probably again try to work out to defeat us. But it would be good to at least get a game, to win a game, and then probably work on that. But I don't want to sound too optimistic now, because everyone's been optimistic in the last 2 games and we've lost. So let's be a bit pessimistic and see if we're going to win. And maybe with, as we said, with prayers from Afa, saying many more prayers, and obviously fasting before the day, we could probably, give it a go against Italians.
Dapo, looking at the scoreline between the Australia and Italy, Australia won that match 68 to 63. We know that in the first match against the Germans, talking about the Italians, they actually they didn't actually suffered a whole wide when it comes to the margin. They didn't actually considered a whole lot of points against the Australian. But at this point in time, against the Germans, well, at this point in time, they only considered about just 3 points, 3 points between them and the Australian. And at this point in time, it means that Nigeria haven't considered about 15 points in their first match, and now they have considered like another 7 points. It means that it's going to be difficult for Team Nigeria to qualify to the next round. Where do we go from here, Dapo?
Well, it's a difficult task. It's a difficult call to make. But what do we do? They still have to go back there to play. We have all been demoralized. Our hopes were high up there. We were thinking that it's going to come out well for Nigeria. But what we are seeing now, tells a different story. Now, the last game against Italy is going to be the game of the group, because if you don't beat Italy, we will be as good as getting back home out of the competition, because we are not going to be considered as one of the best losers. You cannot lose 3 games out of 3, and you are hoping to be one of the one of the teams to be considered as a best loser to move into the next round. It's going to be difficult. The Italians are very good. They are very good, and there's going to be, I don't know. We just have to go there, play to win. Our team has actually been faltering all the while. Even the coach of the team, just like my brother, Wale said, Mike Brown, is puzzled. What is really happening? What is really happening? Is it the kind of air they breathe in? I don't really understand. Is it the kind of food they eat right there at the games village? Something must be wrong. These players, we've seen them before. They don't tire out easily. But right now, right here in Tokyo, they tire out easily. The fourth quarter, which is supposed to be another level of basketball, they call it the end game. For us, it is not the end game. It is a quarter that we drop everything. We drop our guards. We drop the defense is no longer there at that point in time. And the turnover is much more than what we get in the first, second, and third quarters.
Of course, we're finding it difficult to connect through Odako. At this point in time, I just want to read the comment from the Minister of Youth and Sport talking about Sunday Dare after the game between the Tigers and the German. He said the Tigers lost on the scoreboard, but not on the floor against Germany. The Tigers played strong, smart basketball.
Also
The performance
played
of
in
the
the
Tigers
NBA
today
before or
against
collegiate. Yeah,
the German team was a performance that will prepare them to do a better in the third game. This is actually coming up from the sports minister. But at this point in time, Alpha, let's get a reaction on what the sports minister has said
I'm truly
on the defeat for the Tigers. Because at this point in time, it seems that the minister always get to talk at every event that we get to participate in. At this point in time, people are not clamoring that
and
he's beginning to talk too much.
And the statement, I'm really trying to make proper sense of what it is. We lost on the scoreboard, but not on the floor. What does he actually mean? The results were written. It means it was a rigged basketball game. No, I really want to understand. We lost on the scoreboard, but not on the floor.
On the floor.
But we lost to the Germans.
Of course.
So what is he talking about? I really want to understand seriously.
Well, I think you have something to say about the minister's comments.
I think it's just like saying, listen, you're playing the game of football, okay, and your opponent is beating you probably 3-0, and you're saying, we played very well, but I think the scoreboard, because he wrote 3-0, that's what we lost to. That's ridiculous. I mean, honestly, there's nothing wrong in losing. You understand? The minister need not to make any pronouncements. All right, that's part of what we are saying. How many ministers of all the participating countries have come out there to talk on behalf of every or any of their teams? If they have to talk, the coach of the team will come out and say, this is why we lost. You get me? So you don't need a minister for whatever reason coming out to say, oh, we lost because the score. What has the scoreboard got to do with it, for God's sake? What has the scoreboard got to do with it? We lost to a German team. Fine, we lost. Guys, we're going to move forward. So I mean, when people talk, they should probably have a think. Do I need to talk? Why do I need to talk? Dakwa mentioned something in one of the chats we're having recently, and when we're talking about our swimmer Abiola, when he said, please, the minister should not go near that girl, because when you now go to a 17-year-old and say, oh, don't worry, if you win gold medal, if you win bronze medal or silver medal, we're going to give you millions. No, we don't need all that. That's no way to motivate people. It's not all about money all the time. No, it's about you going there, participate, and make a name for yourself. Whatever money that the minister is probably going to promise whoever, they probably will make more than that if they win an Olympic gold. So it's I know the minister Dapo, and I obviously know the SM media to the minister is a friend of ours, and I know if he's probably listening. Talk to Oga, please. Oga don't need to always speak. All right. We don't need to say we lost on the scoreboard. No, please. Let Oga come out and say, listen, I was misquoted. Then we'll forgive him.
At this point in time, you want to make
clearly for me, my reading of all he has said is it reflects how embattled he is. Because it's obvious. It's obvious. You lost. What do you mean by scoreboard and I think he's embattled, and it's just a way of trying to deflect some form of attention
Attention,
from but it's absolutely ridiculous, as Mr. Wale said. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. There was no need for that statement. There was no need for any of those. Well, damage control, fine, but it shouldn't be this way.
It shouldn't be this way. Wale, Lekon has joined us again. I assume that you have a question for him.
Lekon, yeah. I just wanted to clarify. You were talking about the Nigerian girl that won the National Force Festival, and who is obviously is going to be at the Olympics at the moment. You mentioned about her having a test, and she should be in the clear. But I read something from that press release that was written by the Athletics Integrity Group that said 3 weeks within 10 months. So 3 weeks at interval within a 10-month period. So are you saying this girl had followed that process, or are we just saying that she only tested once and she was cleared just at the sports festival?
Okay, Lekon. Okay, we just get an info that Lekon has just left. Well, at this point in time, Dapo, let's get your comment, your reaction on what the minister actually, I said after the Tigers lost to Japan. I mean, to Germany.
Man anymore, as long as this Olympics is on. Let's just concentrate on the other sports. Whatever comes from there, let us take it as it were. Nobody should listen. This same man has caused us, a huge embarrassment. Delving into the crisis in the Athletics Federation, and now he's coming out to make. I cannot categorize what that statement is all about. I don't want to. I cannot say this is what the man is talking about. And from the little I know of him, he was in sports before. He played football to a certain extent, but what he's saying now, I don't really understand, and I don't want to understand anything he's saying.
That he was misquoted. He was misquoted. Let's just agree that he was misquoted.
Definitely. I want to believe so. I want to believe so that those who misquoted him and they were in their rooms when the man said what he said, and somebody just brought the statement to them. So, but by and large, it has gone into a stage now that we just have to believe in the remaining, sports, the remaining athletes that are going to compete. Any other side talks, comment and stuff, please, let's keep away from them. Don't take anything serious any longer from any minister, from any official of the Nigerian Olympic Committee, or from the federation president and some board members that are there. Even the board members that are there, they are complaining that they don't know what is happening. They will just be in their rooms. Nobody is giving them any information. No information is coming from the Olympic Committee. No information is coming from the sports ministry. They will just be in their room. If they don't have schedule of the various events, they will just be there sleeping and all what. So things are not going well for Nigeria, for Team Nigeria at Tokyo, but let us just keep watching. Let us keep watching, keep supporting our team. If they win, we celebrate with them. If they don't win, we have to we keep encouraging them. It has gotten to that extent now, so that nobody will go and develop any form of high blood pressure. There's no need for it. We have seen that everything has gone wrong. When you see everything that has gone wrong from experience, just let it go. These Olympics for us, I'm not sure we're in these Olympics any longer from what happened now, from what is actually happening. So let's just keep watching and don't worry any longer. This Olympic is gone, and we have to start planning for Paris 2024.
I suppose my question, when you mentioned about the federation members,
yes,
why are they there?
They are there. Their federation, the sport they actually qualified. Their federation presidents are there. They are supposed to be there.
Just the presidents, members. Not all the board members.
No, just the presidents. Just the presidents alone.
Okay.
Some of them are also there on their own because they have the funds to do that, and they believe that they will be there to support their athletes to win. So that, because if they win, it's glory for them, it's victory for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, the other games are decided in the early hours today. So the United States returned to winning ways. They actually trashed Iran 120 to 66. Also, France defeated Czech Republic 97 to 77 in that particular match. Moving away from basketball, we head straight to swimming, where our own girl talking about Habibat Abiola has smashed a 14 years old record. Talking about the Nigerian national record in swimming in the 100 meters freestyle event right there at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic. But sadly, she has crashed out of the Olympic Games despite winning a heat in the first round of the games. We are actually looking forward to this girl. She's just 17 years old. For me, I feel we should actually encourage her due to the fact that she performed well, that she actually smashed her 14-year national record. But at this point in time, let's get your reaction on her victory and also on her crashing out of the Olympic Games.
Like yesterday when we were previewing, her participation, today, I said I really wasn't expecting anything spectacular from her. She's a young girl. This is her first Olympics. I mean, so for her, I felt this should be, a stage, a learning stage actually, where she'll just go in, participate. If she wins, fine. But if she doesn't, I mean, no hard feelings. I mean, it's her first time. So I really didn't expect her to do anything serious, but she has participated. It's her first Olympics. She's just 17 years old. In another 3 years in Paris, she'll be, about 20. So she has plenty of Olympics to make it up. I'm sure as she progresses and grows in the sport, with that will come experience. She'll be more developed, learn more skills, and I'm sure eventually she'll come good. But I really didn't expect her, doing anything, spectacular. If she had won, fine, it would have been good. At least we would have had hope that okay, Nigerians are moving up, in the Tokyo Olympics. But good one for her. I mean, she lost, fine. I mean, let's not put too much pressure on her. Let's cut her some slack. But I really hope that she'll eventually learn from her mistakes and do better going forward.
Vivian, she actually finished 59.74 seconds in that particular heat. What will you be your comment on her performance?
Good at 17. She has way more Olympics to come. I'd say that even if she did qualify, it would be very difficult anyways because of the Australians that have like 52 seconds and the British that have 53 seconds. So she's already made a name for herself and she should be really proud.
Of course, Chubuzo, are you proud of her?
Absolutely, absolutely. For me, in my books, she's perhaps one of the success stories out of this whole mess that we have. We can only encourage her to improve and get better, knowing that by the next Olympics she'll not be seen the way we see her now. She'll be seen as somebody actually going out there to get medal. So but again, it comes back to what we should be doing for her now. Not just for herself, but how we can galvanize the needed support for her to do better by the next Olympics, because we by then we would have expected that she would have grown, astronomically to big medals. So the responsibility now goes not just to her alone, but to the to the establishments to ensure that she becomes, because as she is, in some way she has become the icon for female swimmers in the coming age. So I think whoever is thinking, within the sports, the swimming establishment should be seeing her in that light. She's not just Ogunbanwo; she's a symbol for what female swimmers can become. So I think that she's for me, like I said, one of the success stories out of this whole experience.
Of course, Wally, looking at her performance, she actually know she actually know 10th Nigerian to participate in the Tokyo Olympic Games in the swimming events. But at this point in time, what should the federation do ahead of the next Olympic Games in Paris?
I think we just need to work on the girl, honestly. If I were one of those corporate organizations in Nigeria watching the Olympics games now, this girl Esther Toko and Elizabeth in Taekwondo, I will be picking them up, and I would definitely invest in them. This girl has got at least another three Olympic games she can go to. Okay, at the age of 17, she's an Olympian. She's like a model, a role model. She's like the brightest spark to come out of our Olympics for Nigeria this season. Okay, herself and probably Esther Toko so far. For someone of that age and talent, even FINA, the International Swimming Federation, they're already celebrating this girl. She's uh, I never thought this girl could be what she is now. I mean, she's a brave girl. She has done what others could not do, and she does it with a smile on her face. No pressure at all. I was talking to somebody yesterday before our event, and I was saying, "Don't you think this girl is going to be pressurized?" And the person said, "No, no, no. Do you see this girl? Do you see the way she smiles? She's there to enjoy herself, and she has enjoyed herself thoroughly. All we need to do is just go there and encourage this girl. If we need to send her out to go train, to go to competitions, and look at that smile, that pretty smile for a 17-year-old girl in there, representing Nigeria. If we have to do that, please, corporate Nigeria, if you're watching this, you're listening to this, support this girl. I can assure you in 2024, if this girl is supported and trained very well, she would be on the podium next year. She is excellent. I cannot pay glowing terms to her enough. We've gone to these Olympics. We've been very sad with basketball that was in our faces, with every other games. This girl. I mean, when I look at her, I was like, yeah, I feel very proud, and I talk to my children about her. I talk to people around here. I say, listen, we've got a girl in swimming, but she hasn't won anything. I don't care if she's won or not. She's gone there, and she's a bright prospect. She's broken a 14-year-old record. What more can we say? So we need to celebrate this girl. She needs to be out there. She needs to be in the media every time, positively. Don't discourage her. Corporate Nigerians, please, I'm urging you, don't leave everything to the government. Please come out. And if you've been supporting this girl, don't stop. 2024, 2028, this girl is going to be a world beater.
Of course, she's going to be the world beater. Dapo, let's get your reaction on Habibat Abiola.
Yesterday, we made it very clear that nobody should expect, much from her. It's her first time. She's also qualifying alone. Was a record for her, a record for the country also, and she did what we expected. There was a projection that she'll be going there to set a new national record in Nigeria, and she did just that. And I'm proud about her performances. And but we don't know if a swimmer of her own caliber, though young, training in an international facility, and she has been there for a number of years. If such athletes, if such swimmer could, compete in a heat, and she came, finished with that with in greater time than what she has actually done before. There's expectation that she will improve as the competition, progresses. But what happened, I cannot, really explain, but I can tell you categorically that our first, it that she had 59, seconds and now set a national record. I'm sure calls around, Tokyo will have gone round, even to the minister, to some of the big, wigs in Tokyo. And before our next, competition, they will have stormed there and will have told her a lot of things that actually, actually distracted her, and she ended up losing. If a Nigerian girl could, compete in swimming, swimming is a very rare sport. for Nigeria, and she won at it first place in the first heat. She is a prospect for medal. She competed and she qualified straight to the semi-finals. So what are we talking about? Some people will have gone there to take glory that does not belong to them. And they ended up, Scotland, the hope of that girl getting something out of this. There was a possibility, though we were not expecting it. But for her to have gone there, the first hit, to win a race, is something we can actually, be proud of. Or something would have happened. Someone that won a race, straight into the semi-finals, and you competed the next one, you were out, and nobody could give any explanation. Though we said, just like Wale said in our chat early today, the government officials should not go to the swimming, to not go to that aquatic center. They shouldn't go, but I'm sure they will have gone there to show their faces. We are the government, we are in charge, and everything is scuttled now. So it's unfortunate, but she's just there, and I'm sure she will continue to develop. She's encouraged, setting a national record that has been there for 14 years. She's encouraged, and I believe so much that she will continue to grow, and she should remain in that international facility. I think it's in Russia. Continue to practice there. Continue, just like athletes from Wale's second country. For athletes from Britain, they give you funds to pick a country that they're very strong in the sports we are doing. They give you as much as almost £4.2 million to go out there. And by the end of the day, when you win gold, it is £1 million for gold medalists. The sport lottery is there in Great Britain, and they are very, very consistent with it. We should be doing we have something similar to that. The current president of the Nigerian Olympic Committee is the one in charge of our sports lottery. But the millions and billions have been there for ages untouched. We've been talking about this in one Olympics to the other. By the time we spoke about it ahead of the Rio Olympics, nothing. The fund still remains there. Where the commission is going, nobody knows. But we are not even talking about commission. We have a sports lottery that the funds have been committed to train prepare athletes for greater performances in the Olympics, in the Commonwealth Games, and also All African Games, and of course the World Championship too. But this money has just been there. I don't know what is happening to Nigeria. We need redemption, definitely.
We need redemption. That is actually coming from Dapo at this point in time. But we'll go for another short commercial break, and when we come back, Chika Chukwumerije also is talking about our Team Nigeria performance at the ongoing Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Edem Ofyang also she actually spoke about her performance at the games. Don't go nowhere. After this short break, we'll be right back.
I didn't know how you react because you've never fought in a G20. The highest you have fought in is a G4. And so when she went in, I felt it, and it did. By 10th round, she did one or two things that showed glimpses of what she could do. But she has gained a very important experience here, so that when we're pushing her hard in the training, she will understand much better. So already the attitude is going to change, the mentality is going to change, it's just going to be very different. I remember this same thing happened to me in Athens. I lost my first fight. I felt that I was broken down. I actually had almost 3 months of depression, but there was no one to talk to me like I'm talking to her now. So I learned that it was very important. If we really want to reap the benefits of, especially first time Olympians here, so the way we handle them after this tournament is very important. So that's why in the Games Village, when I met most of them, especially the rowers, gymnastics, badminton, I said to them, how does this experience here, how is this going to help you for Paris? Don't be stuck in Tokyo. This is your first time. It can work both ways. If you allow it become a mental health issue, then in 4 years you are not going to be ready. Because when you are stepping into the ring in Paris, you are going to be thinking a deja vu is going to happen. But if you know that this is a stepping stone, you just tested the waters, and now you've tested it, you're going to use it, you're going to make it right in training, do all the right things, then this will be an advantage. And that's basically what I was striving to achieve with Elizabeth. I hope also the same thing will happen with most of the other athletes.
Chika, I know that during your therapy in about 3 years, tell us the kind of work.
Hard work. You've already said it, I don't complain. I can't say I wish I was born as an American or British or what all those things. This is why I found myself, and who knows, is why Nigeria to also make it. I've always talked about the 7 pillars, welfare. I want us to adopt Elizabeth this week for Paris. I want companies to sign up. I don't want her to think about.
Of course, that was Chika Chukwumerije, talking about Team Nigerian participation, and also talking about Elizabeth's performance, talking about the Taekwondo athlete, which she was actually, she has actually, crashed out from the Tokyo Olympic Games. He's actually saying they should give them more time. Let investors, come and support and adopt athletes at this point in time, so that then we can able to prepare for the next Olympic Games that will be coming up in Paris 2024. You want to say something about it?
I agree with him. Like I said concerning Elizabeth, and Abiola, these are very young girls. They've done something really huge. I mean, Elizabeth represented Nigeria in taekwondo. First time in 16 years. When was the last time we had anybody representing us in taekwondo? But she took up the challenge, and she was there. So I mean, she's a very young girl too. So I really feel what these athletes need at this point in time, especially the young ones, they need serious, plenty of motivation. And like I say all the time, sports thrives on funding. Without funding, really, there's nothing you can do, because if you need to really groom your athletes to compete with the best in the world, they need to have the best of facilities. And how do you give them access to these facilities? It's funding, because we really don't have those facilities here in Nigeria. So you need to take them to the countries where who participate more in this sport, where they have those facilities, and for them to travel, training allowances and all that. This take a lot of funding, and to cut some slack for the government, this is something that government alone cannot do. So it's necessary and very important that private investors come into this kind of sports to really pump in some good money to ensure that these athletes have the best of facilities to train, develop themselves. So I completely agree with Chukwumerije. I mean, the girl needs all her support. She needs all the support she needs. She needs encouragement from Nigerians, from corporate bodies. So I really use this as a medium to really appeal to a lot of corporate bodies to really adopt this girl and pump some money into her training activities and all of that. We have another 3 years before the Olympics, so I feel like she's same for Abiola. If the right facilities are put in place, the right environment is there for them to thrive. I think they can really do well going forward.
Chibuzo, before we get a reaction and Dapo Vivian's reaction on these, let's hear Edem Elfyong, what she has to say about her outing at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games.
Is this one entering?
No. Yes, your name is Eden Ofyong.
Yes.
All my years in journalism, I've been writing Efyong. Let me start from there. What is difference between Efyong and Ofyong?
Efyong is for men, and Ofyong is unisex.
Oh, unisex.
Yeah.
So your surname is Edem.
Yes.
Okay. Ofyong, let me say good evening to you, and it's nice to be with you this evening because we're trying to look at you and look at what you have done for yourself over time. Your success story. We are here in Japan for table tennis singles, and how did you see the experience?
It's a very wonderful experience. Japan is a very beautiful city, and it's so nice to be here because I was having so many thoughts in my head, because of the COVID, I was locked down in Spain for over 7 months. And I was very worried because I was thinking maybe the Olympic was not going to hold again. So all of this was causing a lot of distraction. But I am so happy that we made it here. This place is very beautiful, and there's something I just experienced here. Is the sunset, like 4:30 a.m. For me, I was very surprised. The first day when I noticed that, it was like, who put on the lights in my room? It's so nice to be here, really. The experience is so wonderful. It's something very exciting.
Yes, I really be excited. You played your first game and you won. And that evening, how are you feeling like?
I was so happy. The feeling was like I already won a medal in the Olympics, because this lady in question, she's very, very good. She's number 16 in the world, and I am like 120, so it's very big. I saw she was crying uncontrollably, but there's nothing we can do with sport. It's either you win or you lose. For me, I was very happy, and again, Shegun Tirula, he helps a lot. Playing with him also, he said he made many things.
Adam of Younger talking about a campaign at the Olympic Games. So sad that she has crashed out from the table tennis event. She actually won her first match. She was sent back in a second round of the tournament. But Vivian, looking at the video from Chukwumerije and from Ofyonga, what will you have to say about them?
For me, it's interesting that the coach is now focusing on 2024, because that's what we should be doing right now, and investing in our athletes and just making sure that we do better next time. And for the lady as well, the fact that, again, let's not forget that her win was the first win that we had in the Tokyo Olympics, and we were really happy for her. And so now we just need to look forward to what's next.
Of course, Sir Dapo, we want to get your reaction on Chukwumerije and Ofiang.
In on this program, don't take a rush. You've competed, you've made yourself proud. You made the country proud. That's the fact that you didn't win, but the participation and the experience is very, very valuable. Wait and continue to train, continue to maintain the set standard, the kind of performance that will provide you a medal at the 2024 Olympics. That should be the focus. And I'm sure it's the same thing with before Ofion Eden she has been on in the Olympics for a number of editions now. For her, we are not talking about garnering more experiences here and there. She already has experience. Just for her to develop on winning mentality. Well, it's different if you are a skillful player. It's different if you are an Olympic player. Those in the Olympics play to win. They play to win. They get their points. You will be playing fancy games, but they are picking their points to win. So there's a need for her to develop a game to be a winning game, and she can at the end of the day she can actually pick something, and that will make her proud, and also increase her profile when the issue is table tennis. So the issue about funding is also a problem. In the past, the concept of Team Nigeria, we had the managing director of Nigerian Stock Exchange talking about Chief Mrs. Uh, Oyuki Ndidi Okereke Oyuki, and also the late Molade Okoya Thomas. The Ndidi Okereke was actually tasking businesses across Nigeria that comes on to the stock exchange to pump money to fund Nigerian sport, and they were doing it, but not as much as expected. The same thing with late Molade Okoya Thomas. I was in one particular Olympics that they were there. Each win, if you win, they will ask you to come to their rooms, and they'll give you cash in pounds. The kind of encouragement we had then was better than what we are having now. And when we came back from that particular edition of the Olympics, they ensured all the companies that actually this thing is developed, and it is more proactive than what we have now. Adopt an initiative that is coming 2 months to the Olympics is virtually nothing. It is equal to nothing. It cannot help anybody. The funds will just be there, and it's a total waste. And it's painful when companies come and they pump funds into the development of sports. At the time, nothing will be developed. So we should look at this properly. Those in charge should look at it properly. If you are going to develop the adopt initiative, let them do it. If they are going to bring out the concept of Team Nigeria, the corporate aspect of it, they should do it. A combination of these two will take us to somewhere that is higher than what the confusion that is happening when you talk about Nigerian sports now.
They should actually do well to ensure that the sports athletes that will be competing for the country in the future, because at this point in time we need everybody to come to the round table. All hands must be on deck to ensure that they get to support our youthful athletes, because we know that a majority of the Nigerian athletes are the youth themselves. So they just have to do the needful. From there, we'll move to our next story, where we are talking about badminton. Of course, we have been sent packing from the badminton event, but one of the team Nigerian player talking about Godwin Olufua, who actually competed in the men's doubles event, has said that the lack of training tours and also inadequate attendance to World Championship was the reason for Nigerians' poor performance in the Tokyo Olympic Games. Chibuzo, would you really agree with Godwin at this point in time?
The ball training. Yes, of course, it was obvious. Few tours, inadequate training. It has been at the heart of why we are seeing the poor performances so far. And the point has been made over and over again. But we can only hope that, like they've always said, the 2020 24. Paris thing is going to help out. But before 24, there is 22. That is the Commonwealth Games.
Of course.
So before we get to 24, we want to see some improvements by 22. But again, and I hate to sound like I hate to spoil, or to sound pessimistic, if you will. As we speak, by the time these athletes will be back from the Olympics, we will have a system or a country that will be going into the 2023 elections. I'm sorry to bring in the politics, thing, because it appears that we might not necessarily get adequate time to see through why we didn't do so well, in this Olympics. Because all of what we'll be playing out now will be swamped up by the politics of 2023. And we've seen this play out before in the past. And so it will be disheartening that by the time we come back from all of this experience, the sad tales and all, we just might move on as if nothing has happened at the Olympics. And that is where it's very pitiful and very sad and very worrisome. But you can't be all pessimistic. Let's just hope that some stroke of good luck can happen, and we would have a serious discussion about why we performed so badly, and then make an attempt to improve and redeem ourselves by the 2022 Commonwealth Games ahead of the 2024 Games.
Of course, before I come to Alpha, I just want to read what Godwin said, that we have the passion and the mindset to achieve our greatness, to do well and to represent our country. If we do not have quality training and adequate tools, we will continue to struggle to win these top players. If the federal government, the state government, the private sector see us as a priority, we must match up to other badminton players in the world. The only way we can improve our performance at the forthcoming Commonwealth game is to play more tournaments, attend training tours for a year. If we attend enough training tours, the level of our standard will improve drastically, match and other high-ranking players in the world. I strongly believe in the nation, but proper machineries are to be put in place, which include standard tournaments, as who are expected, to do well at the Tokyo, at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Alpha, looking at what Godwin just said about that. With regards to enough, motivation, training tools, adequate preparation, that they can actually match up with their counterpart in all over the world.
I mean, he said it all, and repeatedly I've said on this program, they say practice makes perfect. Apart from probably football, what other sport in Nigeria do we have a running league? Because you can't go to a competition and once you come back, the athletes are almost left on their own. You need consistently to be going on tours, training programs to keep in shape. And that's the only way you can improve. Because in foreign in other climes, every sport has its own league. Just like it, but I mean here it's just football. Maybe that's why our football players, sort of do well. But in other sports, once they come back from the Olympics, every athlete will come back and start struggling on their own. Then maybe, like Chibuzo said, we have the Commonwealth. Maybe a few months to the Commonwealth Games, we'll start hurriedly trying to assemble them again for them to go and compete. And we expect these athletes to do miracles. It doesn't work like that. You need to constantly be participating in one competition or the other, one training tour or the other. This is the only way you can get better. And this is what the top athletes all over the world do. They have these competitions. Look at tennis, for instance. From January to December, tennis players are always busy. Same for other sports. But in Nigeria, apart from football, nothing happens. I mean, when last was a single game played in the basketball league, for instance, in Nigeria? Since the crisis in 2017, we don't have a league anymore. So imagine that we didn't have some players playing the NBA, let's say, and we're supposed to pick some players from our basketball league here. what the results we're getting from the Tigers would have been far worse.
Yeah.
Because you can't expect people not to be in shape, people who are not even playing games. Then a big competition comes, then we assemble them that let's go and represent Nigeria. It doesn't work like that. So
And pray
what
for them
is
to win medals.
exactly? So prayer alone doesn't do these things. You can't prepare for something or for an exam, for instance, and you pray and fast and expect to do well. It doesn't work like that. So he's right. More attention should be put into training of these athletes, going on tours, participating in all kinds of competition. Competitions happen all over the world. Training tours, we don't have the facilities here. We don't even have the structures for these athletes to keep them busy before competitions like the Olympics and the Commonwealth Games come. Come. So I really hope that something needs to be done, because without that, I mean, we'll continue, in this cycle, which is a vicious cycle in my opinion, and we'll continue like this, and we won't be making any headway.
Vivian, you want to say something about it?
Yes, coming from a player himself, he's the one that has the exclusive insight of what's happening, and yeah, he's really right on everything that he said. I feel like right now it's really important that we focus on 2024. Just now, because it's going to be really difficult once again if we perform the same way that we did right now.
Of course, we'll move from our badminton. We head straight to the football result that was actually concluded in the early hours of today, where Germany and the Ivory Coast they played a 1-1 draw. This means that Cote d'Ivoire has qualified to the next round of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Saudi Arabia played 1-3 in favor of Brazil, and Korea Republic actually defeated Honduras 6-0. Romania and New Zealand played a 0-0 draw. Australia actually fall to another African representative, talking about the Egyptians. Spain drew 1-1 with Argentina. France lost to Germany 4-0 in that particular match. South Africa they were defeated by the Mexicans. They were defeated 3-0 in that particular match. But let's get your reaction, Chubuzo, on the performance of the African representative at this point in time. Cote d'Ivoire actually, finished second in their group. That is talking about Group D. They actually gathered 5 points from 3 games behind Brazil with 7 points from 3 games. The Germans they will seek to qualify. Maybe I was one of the best losers because they actually gathered 4 points from 3 games. While Saudi Arabia didn't actually get a point in that particular group. But looking at African representative, Cote d'Ivoire, they have qualified to the next round.
Yeah, it's at least it's a face saver for Africa that they're doing well. Unfortunately, this is a sport that Nigeria was renowned for. The powerhouse in soccer.
We won bronze in the last edition.
Absolutely, and it's so exhausting talking about how terrible. It seemed to be the terrible. But it just shows you how terrible things are. But again, kudos to the African teams. They've not let us down. We can only hope that they push it the whole way, and try to pick up something, at least on behalf of Africa.
On behalf of Africa. In Group C, also Spain, Egypt actually qualified to the next round in that particular group. They came second behind Spain with 4 points. Spain actually were the winners of that group, 5 points from 3 games with plus 1 goal. Egypt actually followed with 4 points plus 1 goal. Argentina also had the same 4 points margin with Egyptian, but they have minus 1 goal difference, and Australia 3 points minus 1 goal difference. Egypt qualified to the next round.
Good one for the Egyptians. I mean, kudos to the Egyptians. Also, congratulations to the Ivorians. Also, like Chibuzo said, when it comes to the Olympics, with the kind of results we've been hearing from other sports, football has always been a sort of, a joy bringer to many Nigerians, especially in the Olympics. Even in Brazil, we were still able to, we got a bronze medal. So, but this time we weren't there. But Next one, the Ivorians are doing well. The Egyptians are doing well. Have qualified for the next round. So I really hope that the Ivorians will, go all the way. And for the Egyptians, I mean, kudos to them also. I think at the end of the day, an African country will definitely, clinch a medal, even if it's a bronze medal. I mean, nice try, but so far so good, especially for the Ivorians. I'm really rooting for them to really go all the way, at least to get to at least the semi-final stages of the football, event of the Tokyo Olympics.
Another African representative talking about South Africa.
Mm.
They actually finished at the fourth place in Group A.
They
It
are
means they are out of the competition. Japan, the host country, won all their three group games. They had 9 points with 6+ goals, followed by Mexico. They have 6 points plus 5 goals. France had 3 points. -6 goals, while South Africans they are the whipping boys in that particular group. They actually ended their campaign without a point in the Tokyo Olympic Games. But at this point in time, we want to read a comment coming in and out from our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Of course, Adebayo Amodu say the corruption is everywhere part of the country. We will not allow our sport to thrive. Harry is saying, I do not think the Tigers have any chance left to qualify. I am so happy and proud of her. This is coming from Sheila Alfred.
I'm sure she was talking about the swimmer,
Yes, of course,
Abiola.
the
Yeah.
swimmer. Abubakar Yunusa, leadership at television. Thank you for your comment. Abubakar Yunusa said, "Wow, wow, 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 wow." Are you saying wow because we lost, or because, or because of the performance of Habib? But I just wanted to just add a comment, coming from our Facebook. You can actually, get to send in your comment and be rest assured that we are going to read them as they actually come. Dapo, looking at the football events, any surprise? Hello, Dapo.
I'm with you.
I
I'm
said,
with you
looking
already. I
at
said,
the okay,
if there are any surprises, I
yes,
said the surprise will definitely come from the Ivorians when by the time they go beyond, going into the knockout stages now, they will surprise everybody, because I know that they are very good in age grade, competition. This is the Olympics is for under 23, and they are very good about the under 20 and under 23. They are very good, and I see them, going all the way. Well, from the start of this program, I've always, told everybody that I'm rooting for the Brazilians. I'm rooting for them with Dani Alves and the other, top-notch players there, the over-age players that are actually in the team. I believe they will go. They will go. The Brazilians will spring. They will spring. A great expectation there. While the Ivorians will also, give us some kind of surprises just for the pride of Africa. We've won it twice before. Nigeria first time in 1996. The Cameroonians also won it, and now we have the Ivorians there. But I'm not predicting that Ivory Coast will win, but they will go all the way, quarterfinals or possibly semi-finals. They can also play in the finals, but winning, I'm not sure, because I'm totally behind the Brazilians.
of course, Dapo is totally behind Ninjas. You also can tell us which team you are rooting for when it comes back to the football event. But we'll go for just a short and the last commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be talking on the Mendas table. Don't go nowhere. This is still the Tokyo 120 right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio right about now. Before we leave, we just want to head straight to the medals table where host Japan are the ones leading the summit of the medals table. They have 13 gold medals. They have 4 silver medals, 5 bronze medals. They are followed by China with 12 gold medals, 6 silver medals, 9 bronze medals. United States have 11 gold medal, 11 silver medal, 9 bronze medal. Russia have 7 gold and 9 silver medal, 6 bronze medal. Australia have 6 gold. Great Britain have 5 gold. South Korea have 4 gold. Germany 3 gold. France 3 gold. Netherlands 2 goals, Canada, Hungary, Slovenia, Kosovo, they have 2 goals, while the likes of Italy, Switzerland, Brazil, Georgia, Romania, Serbia, Australia, Hong Kong, Tunisia, Russia, Estonia, all have just 1 gold medal. Even Philippines, they have a gold medal. Norway have a gold medal. Iran have a gold medal. Looking at the African, countries, South Africa has 2 silver medal. Cote d'Ivoire, surprisingly, they have won a bronze medal. Egypt also has won 2 bronze medals at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. Even Tunisia has won a gold medal and a silver medal at this point in time. Let's quickly get a reaction on the medal table. Chibuzo.
Well, there's no surprise that the giant of Africa, as we call ourselves, are not there. Kudos to the African, nations that are there. But again, I'm a bit intrigued by the what I consider the tussle between yes, of course, Japan is up there, but I'm a bit intrigued by the tussle between the United States and China. And I think it's contextual in the sense of the global for the global politics playing out. It's just an interesting thing to see. Before now it used to be the United States and the USSR. Now I think it's the United States and China. So it's an interesting play out of things.
Vivian, let's get a reaction on the medal table.
Yeah, so for example, if we look at the United States, they have over 30 medals, and unfortunately, Nigeria doesn't have even 1 medal. So it's really sad, and it just makes me wonder, when will Nigeria reach this stage? Will it be in 2070 or 2080? So hopefully we'll be able to just get to the same level as well.
Of course, Alpha.
No surprises, really. In the past 3 days, the medal table will keep changing. Like Chibuzo said, there's a tussle between China and the USA. But in the past 3 days, it keeps changing between China, Japan, and the USA. No surprises, though, to Japan. I mean, they have the advantage of being the host. So, I mean, no surprise, really. But, I mean, when it comes to tournaments like this, the USA will always be in the mix. China will always be in the mix. I mean, Russia is up there, Australia is up there, like I keep saying, so gradually, things are beginning to even out. The big boys are, they're beginning to leave the rest behind, so and this trend will continue till the end of the Olympics. But I keep saying, at the end of a tournament, I still feel the Japanese, the United States, China, and Russia will still make up the top 4, top 5 numbers. So good one. So far, so good.
But will this trend continue?
Vivian was talking about Nigeria winning a medal. You went with 61 athletes to the Olympics, and you want to contest with countries that came with over 600 athletes. That is an impossibility. It's not possible. Just whatever you get, you take. Don't be disappointed. Don't keep waiting. When it comes, it comes. But I just want to say that all these top countries, the top level will continue to revolve around Japan, China, Russia, United States, and Australia. It will continue to revolve around them. So towards the end, they know how to play their end game to emerge overall, winners of the Olympics. So let us continue to watch them play their game.
Of course, let's continue to watch them. Also, we continue to bring you all the action coming in and out from the Tokyo Olympic Games. At this point in time, we want to thank Vivian, all the way from Sheffield, UK, for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, Dapo, all the way from Lagos, thank you for all your inside analysis on Team Nigeria so far.
Then, okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Of course, Alpha and Chubuzo, it's great. It has been great talking sports with you guys.
Always a pleasure to talk sports here every day.
Thank you.
Of course, we want to thank our sponsors, talking about Casprint for supporting the show, and also talking about NLDE for them, supporting the show, and also talking about Nimasa also has joined our sponsors. Thank you, for throwing your support to the show and for our Team Nigeria. This is where we'll draw the curtain for today's show. We'll come your way same time, same station tomorrow. Do have a good night rest. God bless you. Bye bye for now.